All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So today we will be looking at energy and oil. It's been a really nice run on a lot of these oil and energy stocks, actually, right? This SCO chart makes it seem like things might be changing, but again, we'll talk about that shortly, right? What are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see what's setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like or subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. And hey, if you disagree with anything, throw it in the comments. I'm very open to different opinions, so don't feel like you're gonna offend me. I promise you, right? So throwing that out there. Okay, what are we looking at? We always start with SCO because this one is the short on oil. If this does good, oil does bad. If this does bad, as we've seen really for most of January, right, at least since the 9th, oil stocks will do well, right? So you'll see the other ones on later on this are going to basically do the opposite, and they should pretty much all be going up since through the 23rd, okay? What is interesting here, though, is obviously a couple things, right? So yesterday we get a nice break of the 8 moving average, okay? And that's a really strong candle, okay? It's not like it was, something even like this, right? Even though it's relatively full, it's fairly small, right? This thing made a pretty substantial move from sub 20, almost 22.50 to roughly 23.50, right? A dollar is a pretty big percentage on something that's 20 bucks, right? So that's almost 5% roughly. Oh, I gotta do a software update. From there, what we do see the next day is the next day being today, is a very, very tight doji, okay? Doji never counts as confirmation, okay? Obviously, it's still over the line. Obviously, the doji's well over 50%, right? You can see the wick kind of comes down to about 50% or lower, actually. But yeah, it definitely shoots back up, definitely closes over the 8. But look, it did not close. Obviously, it didn't because it's a red one, right? But it didn't close over that 23.40 that it did on this day, right? So again, 23.40 is pretty much going to be that magic number, right? If this thing is going to actually take over the 8 and make us believe it's going to come back into this horizontal cluster, it needs to come to at least 23.40, give or take, okay? And just real quickly, look, okay? This thing has been horizontal for a while, okay? And though there were moments of looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, horrible down, it's still relatively close to the cluster, okay? Obviously, the horizontal's gone from here. Maybe it'll kind of go a little lower. I've definitely seen that before, but really what we're ultimately waiting for is a violent shot up or a violent shot down, okay? I've got to say that that's a really ugly RSI, okay? MACD is surprisingly looking like it wants to kind of curve back, but the RSI is definitely kind of shooting down, right? So I think it's a little interesting. Both obviously are green under. We like green. It's like a traffic light, right? Green is good, red is bad. So the fact that red is on top for both is at least, that's good to know. But yeah, it's weird that this seems to kind of be flattening out, almost wanting to come up, kind of like the actual price is, as opposed to RSI that's kind of saying, hey, I'm ready to drop. And it actually looks like, yeah, it's lower. It's the lowest point it's been on this quick view that we're looking at, right? Clearly a lot of very bad volume, right? All of the days are under our 50 moving average and way more red than green, right? But yeah, nonetheless, I definitely would have expected this to come a lot lower. I think I actually had a roughly 20, yeah, I think I had a $20 target on this, right? I thought it was starting to look like this was going to be a violent down, but I'm definitely a little wary. I don't know if that's a right word or not, but yeah, I'm moving average clusters, man. I hate them. If you watch enough of my videos, I really don't like trading when the lines are just this tight, right? But I'll say this, there's a real healthy move from the 8 to this, okay? If it goes from 23 to 24, what is that? Every dollar is about 5%, right? I mean, that could be decent. clearly nothing will matter to me until we break 25.60, right? 25.57, you see right there is that 100, which is the top one, right? Either we get over this and keep going, either we lose this and keep going down, or we just kind of fall in the middle, right? I had a $20 target. Like I said, I really thought this was going to keep going down. So the fact that it isn't is a little interesting. And, I'm at least, let me just kind of see what this looks like, okay? We'll take it from here. Definitely. So I'm taking it. No, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, because I have it basically trying to hit the bottom of that. It looked like it was going to fall out, but yeah, I mean, if it could fall back into the trend line, I mean, obviously it's still going lower, right? It's definitely flattening out, but it's still an uptrend actually, right? So interesting, just real interesting. Again, I am gonna have to be less bearish than I was. I mean, technically this is 2 days over the 8, right? But I really care about tomorrow. Are we gonna come down below the 8? Or are we actually going to go up? And really, it seems like we'll either close at around 23 exactly and kind of match this candle, or we'll close around 24 and match the top of this one, if I had to guess. And really, either of those numbers would be the confirmation of breaking the 8 or just not happening, okay? Coming to the weekly, look, obviously this is an ugly weekly, right? We've fought, again, this is horizontal right here. You can actually see though, it's still going up, right? This seemed like it was gonna keep going down. And again, why I thought we would come close to this, but yeah, it doesn't seem like we're gonna come back to the bottom of it, right? And that's why I thought, hey, even if it hit $20, it still might be, not quite the bottom and kind of still holding. But yeah, it may, I mean, this is way too tight. This is way too tight. I think we really need to see what happens end of this week, right? But there is a lot of room to come up, right? Because where's this line? We're actually already over that line, right? This one's at 29.42. Oh, we're under it. Okay, so let me draw this because then we'll see what this looks like on the weekly as well. Put that right there. Wait, did I miss that? Oh, I'm looking at the open. I'm sorry. 23.25. Yeah, we're over it by 4 cents actually. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. But sorry about that. But yeah, we've broken that, which leads me to now think this really is where the next place it could go up to. And that's actually higher than the number I set on the daily. So kind of seems like this might be heading up. But again, tomorrow will matter more. And remember, if this goes up, the next stocks we look at should more than likely be going down, okay? So OXY. All right, OXY, again, like I said, not as violent up. This actually went a lot more horizontal. And you'll see it because there's other ones that did do better, right? But I often talk about looking for stocks that have better separation on these moving averages, okay? Because look, first and foremost, the 200 is a hard one to break, right? So you get a nice break of the 8 and the 20, then you're struggling to break this 200, okay? Then when you do it, you have a cluster of 2 right here, right? This was just really set up to be rough. Nonetheless, it did actually go up, right, while SCO went down. So it did do what it was supposed to do. However, there would have been better gains, and you'll see them on a couple other ones that we're going to get to. And it is because these lines are tight. And look, where are we right now? This is a strong cluster of all 5 moving averages. We're definitely on the bottom side of the cluster, right? We're literally on the last one, right? So I would be much happier if we were in the middle of it or higher. Nonetheless, I would not touch this thing until we either break over the 100, get over the top line and go up, or just watch this thing go down and wait until it recovers, right? But yeah, I hate moving average clusters, and this really and these two have looked the same for a while. This one's not as tight right here, but SCO and OXY, you really should be looking at both of those together in all honesty. But yeah, again, super, super tight. This was doing really well, and it seems like it might be running out of gas a little bit. But yeah, what I care about way more is losing this or breaking this. And obviously I want this to break to get in and fly, right? And look, there is much better trading up here. There's still a whole mess of red lines, you know what I mean? So even if you wait for this, there are still some good gains to get back and kind of ride that to that 70 roughly, right? It's a 5% gain, but again, it should be an easier 5%, right? That's kind of what I do stress on a lot of these videos, right? Not too much more to say on the daily. What does the weekly look like? Again, look, we've talked about this a couple times. This 50 is huge, okay? It's been a real long time since we were under it. It did really well once we broke it, right? So the fear would be is if we lose that 50, we're coming down here. But at the very same time, I don't think I zoomed out as much. It's the same thing with this 50, right? If we break the 50, we're going to go all the way up here. And again, that's why I say make sure if you're in OXY, you look at SCO or vice versa, because again, they should be doing the polar opposite, right? But one of them is going to essentially make a big move, right? And you know, that's why we watch both of them, just to know, right? But where are we right now? Look, we're at least over the 8. I'll take it. Clearly, we wanted to break the 20, right? Because that would have put us, where is it? That would have put us over all of them, okay? That would have put us over all of them and kind of made our way back up. But instead, look, we've seen it on so many videos. This 20 is no joke, okay? None of them are a joke, right? But yeah, 20 is no joke. So real sad to see on the weekly. Again, ugly on the daily, but it could be a lot worse. I'll at least say that, okay? All right, I'll be honest. I personally got a little frustrated with CEI. I did, man. So this line had been my entry point. When we broke that line, I got the alert, and I was really happy to ride a lot of that profit. Okay, in all sincerity, I assumed we were gonna fill all that. I really did, and you know, I'm very sad to see where this dropped. My limit, shit, my stop sell, God, I always get those confused. Either way, is that 50% candle. Once we lost 50% candle, I got out. I was actually really hoping, and I do have an alert in here. Let's just make it on this video too, right? An alert by no means is an immediate reason to buy. It's just to come check it out. But yeah, if we get over this line, there are so many red candles that just are dying to turn into green. Like, look at all that. I'm very disappointed. I'm not going to pretend it. I thought we were breaking this and running all the way up here. So super sad on my end. But look, we're still technically over the lines, right? So if we can work our way back up, I'll be real interested. Honestly, you can even set an alert for right here. You know what? Let's do that as well. Let's set one for 212. I want to know when we're at 50% candle. I for sure want to know when we're over it, right? Now look, is that 212 exactly 50%? Is it too, like, I'm not here for perfection, right? We're here for good enough, because I promise you, good enough will make you so much money or save you so much money, right? So yeah, I think that sounds good. But one more time, this very much disappointed me, but look, just I'm okay. I made a quick Mullen video today, all right? And one thing I talked about Mullen was I liked the last couple day of volumes because it looked more like this than this. I do not like when we're at 2 million and then almost 10x, okay? 10x volume. Like, if you go 10x in one day, you almost know you're going to come at least 50% or less the day after. And this was way less, right? So that made it that much worse. But I like gradual volume increases. That's so much healthier than something like this, than something like this. I don't want a silly 5x. I want, 1x, 2x, maybe 3x, then I'll take a 5x. You get what I'm saying? So this just was really bad, but I'll be real honest, it fooled me for sure. Hey, I made some profit, but I'm telling you, I wanted way more than I made, and I'm sure I froze some money that probably could have been better used elsewhere, right? So CEI, disappointing. There's nothing else to say, and it for sure caught me. But look, where are we at? Okay, clearly a horrible weekly chart, okay? Nothing good will happen on the dailies until the weekly starts looking good. I do like a couple things though, okay? This was a good wick test, all right? It's been a good while since we've actually gotten a good wick test, because that's this actually opened it. I do like that one, right? But again, when did this one happen? This was in December of last year, actually. That wasn't that far away. This is a weekly. I just realized that. But yeah, it's been a while since we've really made any meaningful tests on this 8, right? So this is kind of a little optimistic, I'll say that. And then what's down, down, down is going horizontal and kind of peaking up. Still have the RSI going up. It's not even at the 0 line, right? And then again, this RSI just hasn't moved yet. Okay, and this is a healthier volume. This is my 1x 13, 2x at 30, right? Rough numbers, 1530, right? So that's a healthier volume like weekly. So hey, maybe there's reason to believe. But yeah, I mean, this thing's on the cusp of doing it. It's just, you gotta wait is what it is. It just sucks, but I'm telling you, I'm dying for this to make its move. Okay, and one more time, let me just go back to what I was saying on OXY. Look at the spacing on the moving averages. Okay, clearly it didn't do it, but there's way more breathing room to make a move. OXY was just so tight, right? So look for stocks that have nice moving average spacings. Okay. Indo. So look, this right here is what I'm talking about. Good little space, very good space, decent space, right? That's way better than that's tight, that's pretty tight, and that's a horrible line. And then, there's a cluster right there, right? So it's subtle. I'm not going to say it screams out, but look, the 200 is nowhere in here. There's definitely no clusters at the top, right? Like that was a cluster for sure. That was closer to it than this. So look for the spacing and you can catch way better ones, okay? Hey, I really hope, this is not financial advice, but most of this Indo we definitely caught on the video, right? So yes. Where are we now though? Look, again, I got to do this software. I'm making my video for my people. The 100 moving average, okay? We talked about it on my Mullen video earlier today. I don't want to throw you there. That's not what I'm doing it. But the 100's no joke, and I was just thinking about it earlier. But it's tried to actually look like it was going to gap up starting up here, right? Then a fail, was able to use both the 50 and the 8 to kind of make a second attempt. Kind of even, you can say, tried to make a third attempt right there. But yeah, now we're clearly under the 8. It really seems like we're probably going to come to 550. I would love for this 50 to catch us, right? But I kind of think it just tried to, you know what? There's actually, I think it's only used it once. I think 575 could be a place where it stops. Otherwise, that 550 right there, the very last thing you want to have happen is lose 550. Because you lose 550, you're probably coming down to this 510 number, give or take, right? So, yeah, I don't think I need to draw new lines here either. But one more time, spacing of moving averages will make you way, way better profits for sure, okay? But where am I immediately? I got to be bullish here, right? We're under the 8. It does seem like we're kind of heading down here. The RSI looks like it's getting a little tired. MACD looks like it's getting a little tired, right? Volume's definitely kind of slowing down versus these right here, right? So a lot of signs on the daily are not looking fantastic. Again, look, you can already see it, right? This 20 has been no joke. There's definitely a lot of lines. I'll probably delete some lines very soon. But yeah, look, you can see it right here, right? We have not cracked this 20 on the weekly. When we do, oh my gosh, it'll be beautiful, right? There's reason to believe that'll take us to 8, right? Hopefully if we break that, that'll take us over 10, right? But right now, this 20 is no joke, and just don't underestimate that. That is for sure, okay? IMPP. Okay, look, again, I liked Indo more than IMPP. This one definitely had the real good spacing, right? But when you start to come down here, it was easier to pick Indo, right? I'm going to just kind of go back real quick. Better RSI from what I can see right here, right? Because again, this is just kind of going up right here. It doesn't look like a lot, but that is a real nice RSI, right? Okay, I think I called the MACD RSI. Sorry about that. But yeah, these are looking pretty good and clearly nice volume down here, right? What did IMPP look like? Oh, interesting. That actually did look good as well. This wasn't as good, I'll say that, but volume didn't look bad. Interesting. I think it was just this IMPP 20, I think that's really what it was. So this, okay, let me look at it from right there. Why did I pick Indo? I know I did, but like let's learn together, right? Okay, I think the difference really is on was this just 20 reaction. Okay, so third, okay, but by the ninth, yeah, it was. So right, you can see on these days right here, right? So look between the third and the ninth. This thing starts to go up more. IMPP wasn't. This thing definitely stayed flat right here, and that is what, man, that nice. Okay, cool. It was really subtle, I'll be honest, but I do remember picking Indo over IMPP, getting a whole mess of grief, ended up being right, which was nice, right? Again, both of them are actually not looking good right now. So this one's kind of falling back in line with Indo. And I do like when IMPP and Indo look the same. I mean, I know they kind of do different things, but hey, it's good having a brother or sister stock because it just gives you more information from somewhere else, right? But yeah, this is also under the 8. This definitely tried. I mean, look, it struggled with the 20, got a decent movement up, and again, a bunch of dojis in a row and then one good one, right? And then well under 50%. I mean, it's definitely going up, but that's not a good string of candles by any means, right? From there, it's just kind of trying to ride the 8, looked like it was going to do a bounce to the 50 and then kind of under it, right? So ultimately, what do I see? Look, IMPP definitely did not like masterfully break this 220 for sure. Did Indo? I think kind of, right? Yeah, because look, Indo on the daily has this 20 kind of working upward, right? It looks like it might be stalling a little bit, but hey, it's at least still working up. IMPP, man, this thing is kind of at least flat at the best, right? Maybe even kind of going down, right? So it'll take a little bit longer for Indo's 20 to work its way down versus IMPP as well. So just something to keep in mind. But look, ultimately, if this thing can stay above the 20, that'll be good. If it loses the 20, clearly that'll be bad, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think IMPP, yeah, so this guy is a lot closer to all-time lows. Indo at least has some distance between all-time lows. And hey, I would rather my money be something that's not that close to all-time lows, for sure, for sure. You know what I mean? So just a couple little nuances I was trying to highlight on the video. But yeah, definitely bearish on both Indo and IMPP. HUSA. Okay, so look, this one's been all about the cluster. This thing has literally been riding horizontal since July. And all I could do is laugh, you know what I mean? So we're getting close to the top, okay? And I like that for sure. RSI is a little high though. That's also for sure, right? So I would love to break it and then use the top as a bounce. But I mean, look, this is a super, super tight 3 within this whole 5, right? So a lot is happening within these 3, within the 100, the 8, and the 50. But ultimately, it's the 200 up here and the 20 down here that really matter, right? And let me just zoom out one more time. Look how horizontal this thing has been, okay? So it's been literally half a year of horizontal trading, okay? So where was it before? Yeah, I mean, man, you can almost say it's been horizontal since March. There was definitely a decent couple things, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Okay, nonetheless, one more time, volume at some point was up here, was in the millions, almost at the million. Now it's definitely, 10% of what it used to be, right? So HUSA needs way more interest. There's been a decent amount of buying though, at least, right? You can see that string of green at least hit this, right? But yeah, again, I've said it on a couple stocks already. I don't like being in a cluster. There's better places with your money. This is a decent weekly. I'll say that, right? That red did turn to green. We're definitely in a doji right now. But again, if we can get over 407, I'm actually going to put, I don't want to put a line just right here. Yeah, there's no reason to put a line right there. Where does 409 put us? Oh, perfect. That's pretty much where the 200 is. Yeah, 405. Perfect. Yeah. Get over the 200. We'll get over this on the weekly. A lot of reason to believe things could be really, really, really good if we can get over that like low $4 threshold. Okay, that's really what needs to happen here. NBR, this thing has been really nice, right? What happens when you're over all 5 moving averages like you do since this day? It's good, easy trading, okay? Is it a monster game? Man, it's at least 10%, right? This thing roughly went 20 bucks and 10% 16 bucks, right? So I love a good, easy 10%, right? I mean, it is what it is. So I stress it often, right? I know it sounds silly to wait for confirmation, to wait for this thing to get over this line when you can just buy it down here and ride all the way. But we've seen it so many times, right? You could have bought down here, ride it all the way, and then it comes down here, right? Obviously still a profit and still does good, but you get what I'm saying, right? There have been ones that come down. I am a big fan of waiting for this to break and trading the easy one. That was the point of the story, okay? But yeah, where are we right now? I mean, a couple things, right? We're seeing SCO potentially turn around. Almost every other oil stock that we've talked about is kind of starting to slow down. This thing was able to use the 8 as a nice bounce up. I love it, right? And really hasn't used it too much on this run, right? That was close, but not quite. I mean, I know it looks like a dip, but it didn't actually touch it. It did wick right there, but again, that's the first test and good bounce up from the 8, right? So are we over this line? We are over that line. I love it, right? Take me back up here, take me back to the 180s, and I mean, clearly that'd be a good thing, right? Last thing I want to do is lose the 8, but yeah, I do technically still have to be bullish, but look, that's a high RSI, all right? We're over the 80 number. We've seen them in the 90s, and look, we're overall 5, so there's some reason to put, be a little more risky if you want to do it, but yeah, this is telling me we definitely need a cool down, right? Hopefully we don't go any lower than the 20. And honestly, I would love to not even come to the 20. Maybe like this line right here, I'm not going to draw it, but maybe this line right here can actually act like a bounce point. Maybe even the bottom of this guy can act as a bounce point. But I would love to bounce above the 20. And hey, if we have to use the 20, that's what it's there for, right? But yeah, I'm telling you, good things happen if you wait for confirmation. We do see it right there, right? And look, one more time, this is oh my gosh, I got to do my software update. I know. This thing's a good weekly, right? Definitely over all the moving averages right there. Definitely able to use the moving averages to get back over the 8 and use the 8 to get back up, right? So pretty good moving average theory right here, actually, right? Use the lines to your advantage. That's definitely the goal. Nice MACD, that's for sure. It's actually been a nice MACD since all the way down there, right? And look, it actually never goes under it even during this little scare, right? So the MACD and NBR actually look like these two might be tied pretty nice together. And again, a whole mess of more buying than selling, which is always a beautiful thing, right? Especially on the weekly chart. So look what that translates to on the daily, right? So yeah, definitely a good chart. There's a lot of reason to believe this could continue if we crack this 180 number. Otherwise, if you lose the 8, brace for a decent. But I don't think we're going to come down here because you shouldn't lose both of those. That's for sure, right? If the 20 doesn't do it, I mean, the 50's right there. I can't imagine this goes any lower than the 50. That would be pretty worrisome for sure. And then DO, this is the last of our oils. Actually, a very similar chart to Neighbor. It just wasn't able to do that nice bounce. But hey, look, the wick came all the way down here, right? So it at least still closed over the 8. I'll take that. That's definitely using the 8, not as a bounce, but hey, at least as a prevention from a huge fall today, right? Again, this one's you can see it already, right? The 100 starts right here. So this is a relatively new stock. And when we go to the weekly, right, you'll see it right here. There hasn't been a lot. And we talked about these. Okay, this is a relatively new video, right? But one more time, when you get over key lines and you have no resistances, right? This essentially is red, right? There's literally nothing here. You make the move as expected, and you can see it actually wicks over it just by a little bit, right? But there's some good when there's very little info on the chart. Actually, we'll actually see that with American Lithium in a couple as well. But yeah, this was a very easy, roughly 20% actually too. So RSI is a little. I mean, look again. If we can get over this, let's do it. But again, the daily. It looks like it might be getting ready to cool down again. I would love to not use the 20 as the bounce point. Hopefully 11, because right, 11 is pretty much the bottom of this and the top of this. I would love to not go lower than 11. That would be really nice. Again, worst case, if you lose the 20, the 50 should be right there to drop it. I would hate to go any lower than the 50. But yeah, 11 would be a real ideal bounce point here. UEC, okay? Oh man, so what's happening here? Look, again, cluster of moving averages, real big volume today. Interesting. I don't know if there was news or not, but today we broke we broke 4 out of the 5 moving averages, okay? And look, this 200 obviously was the thing that stopped this, but I mean, today it decided to take over, all right? I have my alert a little bit over 4, so there's, I mean, oh, I don't know why it didn't. Oh, interesting. I wonder what was the high of the day? 405. I don't know where my alert is. I got to check on that actually. But yeah, I know. Man, where was my alert? I think it should have hit like right there. No, I think we might have even. Oh man, I gotta check. Whatever. Either way, that's irrelevant right now. What does matter is tomorrow's confirmation. Okay, we need to close. I mean, 398 is close enough for me to say $4, right? But I need a green candle close right here. I do not want a doji. I want to close there because it now. I mean, look, this thing did break it at one point, but had to stop. Tried to do it again. Pretty hard drop down actually, and now coming back. I mean, it should. I mean, look, that's a beautiful RSI. That's a good MACD. That's definitely a bigger volume jump than ideal. But I mean, it did it. What was it from 4? Damn. I mean, that's definitely almost a 5x right there, right? It went from 4 to 20. Man, look, if volume doesn't like drop to below 10. Give me at least like 12, 13 million. That would be nice. Give me more than 23, obviously. But give me the $4 confirmation. And yeah, there's reason to really believe that this thing might start going up. Again, I don't know if earnings came out on this or what, but UEC looks like the best one in the video so far, actually. So can you tell that I have to do a software thing? Yeah, I'm really liking this, actually. I am really liking this. And I mean, look at this weekly right here, right? We are sitting at the cusp of breaking that 50 right there in a cluster of 3. Where's the 200 all the way down here? Break it on the daily, you'll break it on the weekly, and you'll have good reason to put this 423, 450. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You can pretty much put a line, and I will put a line right here. And one more right here. There are some big number targets, that's for sure. It's all going to start with tomorrow's confirmation if it happens. I'm going to go ahead and set my alert. I'm going to do 401. I want to know that we cracked that $4. Again, an alert is not an immediate buy notification. It is a come look at the chart notification, okay? This one so far has been the best on the list. GEVO, my favorite stock to say, I swear. Okay, this actually acted as expected. Made a good run. Once it got over that, my guess was it was going to hit the 100 because, again, it's been a real long time since we broke the 100, right? But, I mean, there were real good profits to be made, right? And what's happening right now, look, we've got a cluster forming. There are 4 lines that are kind of starting to look like they want to move it horizontal. And let's be honest, okay? This thing went from horizontal here to a drop to now horizontal here, right? If we break it, and I mean, I think I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Either way, get over the 100, all right? That's all that matters here. I've got a couple minutes left before I got to do something, so I got to hurry up. I'm looking at the time and doing this. But yeah, this is a cluster. Get over the 100. I've said that like 3 times. I'm sorry. The weekly is definitely about this 20 right here, right? I'm glad that we actually did break it once, but yeah, we haven't seen back to back. Definitely haven't broken it yet, right? But if we can break it by the end of the week, again, next week's confirmation is going to matter because one more time, we have not seen back-to-back greens since June of last year. okay? It's been about 6 months since we've done that, right? If we can do a back-to-back, there's actually reason to believe we'd go to the 50 from there, because there's a decent amount of red, red, red right there, followed right behind a green, 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 followed right by another red, 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 right? So a lot is saying it wants to come to this 50, if not even a little higher to this 200, if things play out right. So still some work, but GEVO is actually kind of starting to look like it might want to come back to life. And getting over that 100 is definitely going to be an important one. I'm going to put an alert right here. I actually want 222. That's a beautiful number. Let me know if 222 happens. AMLI, American Lithium. So again, this used to be LIACF. All right, a couple things, right? I talked about, okay, let's do this. First and foremost, I definitely dropped out of this stock during this moment right here, okay? There was some good profit to be made before the uplisting. That continued all the way here. Once we lost 50% candle right there, my limit was out. I was by no means sad, okay? My alert was at this line right here, because again, once you break this, you're at all-time highs, right? And I actually joked. I said if we broke this line, I was really expecting a monster 20, and that's actually what happened on this one. I think it was around 16, 17. I don't know if it was a 20-digit day, but yeah, once you broke this line, you can see most of the profit was actually over the line. So I know it sounds silly when I say just wait, but yeah, more profit was over the line than it was under the line, okay? From there, look, we've now gained an 8 moving average. That's a good thing, right? We now have a place to see, hey, if this is going to fall, hopefully it doesn't fall any lower than the 8, right? Where are we actually? Look, this thing closed above yesterday, and it was with the doji, okay? Doji does not count. So we broke the 8 because this was under it. We've now broken it and we have a doji. I still need confirmation tomorrow that we're actually over this 8, okay? Because technically, we've only done it once without confirmation. Put me right here, and I'm actually going to set an alert. I want to know if we open. Literally, give me a penny higher. This thing closed at 357. Let me know if we're at 358. And yeah, from there, again, this could still continue for some all-time high loves, okay? Because still no idea what the MACD is, still no idea what the RSI is. I mean, volume decreased, but I mean, there's been a lot of buying, right? A lot more than these last couple days too, right? Which is real nice. So we still have not been trading for 50 days, so we don't have an average of 50 volume, obviously, right? But again, there's only so much you can do with so much information. Where did the line go? Oh, there it is. And I drew this last time as well, okay? So we went from here to here, right? That I remember drawing this trend line, and I said, if we lose the trend line, bad things would happen. That's where those two things came. But then again, when the 8 came, it kind of seems like it did some magic, right? So yeah. All right, I love it. Again, this thing could definitely still make its way up if it wants to. And again, the weekly is going to be pretty minimal, except all it's showing is we're at all-time highs, which is a beautiful thing, right? And then last on the list is TMC. Okay, where are we, right? I talked about this, and it was the exact same thing with GEVO. It looked like it could make its way up. I just wasn't sure if it was going to break the 100. The cool thing is, though it failed the 100 pretty hard, it stayed in the cluster. The 20 is starting to move up. The 8 continues to move up, and the RSI is low enough to where if we break this 100 moving average, there's definitely plenty of gas for it to want to run to the 200 right there. So I'm going to want to know when we break that 100. I had it at 91 because, again, you see right there the 100 is at 90, right? Get over that, and that's going to be some nice trading right there for sure. And again, this is still pretty horizontal, but it's low enough to make some good moves. And look, there's been way more buying than selling, but man, it's just too low. We need about 1 million shares in a day, and that will really help this fly. But yeah, TMC is actually sitting on the cusp. It for sure is. And look, this went from a really ugly weekly to actually not a bad weekly. It's well over the 8, and it's now trying to break the 20. So a good weekly helps with some good dailies, right? But break the 100 here, you'll break the 20 there, and both the daily and the weekly will still look good. So hey, if you stayed this whole way, I appreciate your time. You know that, and I'll make more videos soon.